It is my honor to be with you tonight for the Engineering Honors. I wish I could be with you in person at Armature Works to celebrate the incredible work done this past year by USF's College of Engineering under the stellar leadership of Dean Robert Bishop. But I'm with you in spirit, and I want you to know how much I support and am constantly amazed by engineering and the innovative work you produce on many fronts. I'm so proud to be able to share with you that our College of Engineering has produced more than 430 patents, and that number continues to grow. And we can all share in the sense of pride stemming from the following statistic: the $41 million in research expenditures engineering had in 2021, the largest amount in its history. I congratulate you for that significant achievement. I know all of us are still feeling uplifted by the recent act of generosity of USF's alumnus, John Ramil, the longest-serving member of the Board of Trustees. John capped his retirement after his historic run last month by announcing, along with his wife Nida, a $1 million gift to the College of Engineering, where he earned his bachelor's and master's degrees. This will make a powerful impact endowing the chair of the Department of Medical Engineering, helping people achieve better health through new engineering innovation. I had the pleasure of serving with John on the inaugural Board of Trustees at USF, and we are so appreciative of his contributions to the College of Engineering and to USF over the years. I also want to say a word about the remarkable addition to the college, and that is the brainchild of Dean Bishop. Through his wisdom and leadership, the Institute of Applied Engineering was born. The Institute aspires to be the world-class research and education center dedicated to seeking solutions to the security and economic challenges facing the nation. As Dean Bishop, who serves as the Institute's president, says, his program seeks truth at a high velocity. In other words, solving extremely difficult engineering problems and doing so with amazing speed. The program provides students with hands-on, impactful learning opportunities. Students work on projects that impact the Department of Defense, and they have the ability to learn while they are engineering essential elements for the department's uses. The Institute combines education with real-world problem solving, and many of the problems have life or death ramifications, such as helping the military operatives stay connected while in foreign countries with little or no technology infrastructure. That's part of an $85 million task order that the Institute was awarded from the U.S. Special Operations Command at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. Last year, the Institute even sent 3 small satellites into space aboard a SpaceX rocket. For all of the reasons I've stated here, I couldn't be more excited about our College of Engineering and what they've achieved and what it will achieve in the future. So congratulations and enjoy your celebration. You earned it.
Hi, I'm Michael Herron. I'm the Director of Work and Asset Management for Peoples Gas. Peoples Gas is the largest natural gas distribution company in the state of Florida, serving over 445,000 customers throughout the state. I chose engineering because I had an early interest in electronics and especially computers. I remember purchasing a Tandy TRS-80 from a friend. Too bad it doesn't work anymore. One of the things I think about is from that moment on, I knew that engineering was going to be an avocation for me. So then from there, I'm originally from Tampa, and I was fortunate that USF had a great engineering program. So from that moment on, I said, I'm going to go to USF. And I graduated from King High. Next thing you know, I'm accepted at the University of South Florida. My USF engineering education opened doors for me that otherwise wouldn't have been open. I learned frameworks to solve problems, I met people that I still work with to this day, and ultimately it taught me how to collaborate and work with others in ways that I would not have been able to do without it. My favorite USF memory is that I've been able to make friends while I was at USF that I still have to this day. My proudest moment since graduating from USF was being named the President and Chief Operating Officer of AmeriMaine, and ultimately leading it through the successful transition to new ownership. At Peoples Gas, safety is our #1 priority. As I mentioned earlier, we're the largest natural gas distributor in the state of Florida. We serve customers through pipelines all the way in northern Panama City, all the way down to Miami, Florida. Over 20,000 miles of pipe. My advice for young engineers is don't sell yourself short. Think about what you want to become, because that's what's going to limit you. If you believe it, you can get there. You just take that shot. Also, take Toastmasters. It allows you to practice skills that will serve you through the rest of your life. I'd like to thank John Ramil for the mentorship I received throughout my career. I can remember John saying, stay uncomfortable, take risks, and I think about that and try to take it to heart. And as Beth and I, natives from Florida, moved to Bangor, Maine, I have to tell him, I think we got a little bit uncomfortable. I would like to thank Karen Mincy, who's the Chief Information Officer, who gave me my first opportunity as a director. Karen used to always say, leave your mark, or put your fingerprints on it. And Karen, I've tried to do that because I still think I have the ink on my hands. I would like to thank Dean Bishop for this incredible honor, and my wife Beth for submitting the nomination. I love you.
I'm Joy O'Shields, and I was hired as the director of the Minority Engineering Program at the University of South Florida by Dean Michael Kovac in 1989. And I served as the director of the Minority Engineering Program from 1989 until the year 2000. During that 10-year stretch, I was able to interact with future engineers, professors, and we became like a family in terms of what we did to promote opportunities for jobs and opportunity to network, which was really important. I think as we sit here in the Martin Luther King Memorial Plaza, the I Have a Dream speech resonates with me in terms of my working with students. They came to us with dreams to become engineers. I just think that was just so important that we have these conversations with our students so that they could reach and meet, their dreams, their aspirations, or raise their expectations and what they can do in life to overcome some of the obstacles that they were confronted with that would say, I can't do this. And if you talk to any of my former students, they're going to tell you, I'm always the one to say, you can do it. I want to thank Dean Bishop for the Engineering Appreciation Award from him, from the university. Also, I need to take time to really say thank you to my family, which includes my engineering daughter and son.
Well, my name is Dave Maiga, and I'm the person who started and runs the Electronic Design Specialist Corporation, which is a tiny corporation. But basically we have a lot of clients, or I've had a lot of clients in the past since I'm mostly semi-retired now. Basically what we do is we take the client's idea of what they want to do and think about a way of making it work mechanically and electronically and come up with a prototype. And if they like what they see, we come out and do our production. We do small amounts of manufacturing, I guess you could say, in Pompano. And then if it's a very successful part, such as the stuff I do medically right now, then at that point we have contacts in China that make our boards, stuff the boards. Born in New York, like many people, Queens, very, very poor family. And so had to pretty much work from the age of 10, you know, the usual things, the newspaper routes, fixed bicycles and that sort of thing. But I've always had the ability of figuring out how things worked. And I've always had the intuition to figure out, when I took it apart, how to put it back together again as well. And the day I turned 18, I took my old Chevy, had a 64 Chevy Nova that barely ran, and flew and drove down to Florida. And after that, started school. And while I was at college, I was working part-time. What put an end to that, unfortunately, was the recession we had. We had a bad recession and first oil shortage, 74, 75, and landed up losing my jobs and just barely made it out of college. I did get the Associate of Arts in Engineering degree, but that's about as far as I could go. I'm not going to lose hope of the dream of wanting to be an inventor and have my own company and design electronics, but in the meantime, I know I'm just going to have to work at something else. So I had saved up a little bit of money, not enough to go to a university, but enough to at least get a small store started. So that's when I decided, let me go ahead and start a small CV shop and make some money doing that. Maybe after a few years doing that, then I can go ahead and reinvestigate going to school for the rest, for the other 4 years to get my master's in electronic engineering. After having 3 stores, because I did have a chain of 3 stores at that time. So I took a year off and did a lot of research and studying, and so I came up with the name Electronic Design Specialists, and put myself out there saying, hey, you know, maybe we can go ahead and start designing stuff for you. Well, EDS had a good run. I mean, we had a good 20 years, and probably by around 2015, sales were starting to slow down. And I think the reason for that is that there were simply less and less technicians wanting to fix things. It was less expensive to buy a new VCR or a new DVD player than it was to fix the old one. The best thing that I could do was make an endowment to a university where there are kids that actually do want to build stuff. They want to design stuff, they want to build stuff. And I'd like to thank the dean for recognizing me, considering that I'm not really an alumni or anything like that, but it's just really appreciated that I'm getting this award, and it gives me some recognition, and hopefully people who have come up the hard way as I did will understand that they can do it also. And it's great when people appreciate what you're doing, and I do thank you for the award.
You know, I came by engineering in an interesting path. I started off as a social scientist, as an economist, and I worked for a land development bank in Mexico. And I found out more and more that the decisions that really drove economics and land development were really transportation decisions. So I went back to school. I was an economist at first, but I went back to school and got a master's degree in civil engineering, which meant I had to do a lot of other things to make that happen, statics, dynamics, you know, the usual curriculum. And it's been absolutely wonderful because engineering is an absolute way to help solve problems. And that's what I like, and that's why I chose engineering. In the strictly engineering area, I have been given some very interesting assignments, particularly when I worked in government. And one of them was to take an almost what I call dead project, because it had lost economic support, that I thought was very important to the community, the Port of Miami Tunnel, and getting that revived, which means that you have to build a constituency all over again. You have to work with every factor that it affects to get people to support the investment in this project. And that project, I think ultimately history will say it saved downtown Miami. I have spent a lot of time particularly trying to mentor women in transportation, because when I came on board many, many years ago in transportation, there weren't a lot of women at all. There were certainly very few role models. You had to look outside the industry. And I believe in giving back. So I have dedicated my life to public service and working with people to try to give back a small portion of what I've gotten from here. I work for Renaissance Planning. It's a fabulous organization. It's a small business. It's a firm that has different offices on the southeast. And what we do is we provide transportation planning services We seek to integrate transportation and land use, and we work with lots of local governments. We work with some private enterprise, and it's just an amazing firm and an amazing job. You know, I've been with Qatar and helping Qatar since Qatar was in trailers. So there have been so many interesting experiences in Qatar, but I think the most gratifying has been to see it grow from a small little organization to a national and international presence. And I've benefited so much more from Qatar than anything I've ever given to Qatar, because the people here are fabulous. They're committed to their research. They're committed to their educational function, and it's just been a wonderful set of years.
I'm Dennis Blankenship. I'm Senior Engineering Director for Cisco's Networking and Security Business Unit out of Silicon Valley, California, and Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. I graduated in 1987 with a computer technology degree. I grew up as a young boy watching Saturn rockets lift off from my home in Tampa, Florida, and little be known to me, USF degree catapulted me into a software engineer role at Kennedy Space Center, launching space shuttles to start. From there, I moved to North Carolina and on to California, where I've held multiple executive level positions leading global teams across the world. In my role at Cisco, my teams develop high-performance, high-speed routers that run the internet. Cisco owns over 85% of the internet infrastructure in the world. I have teams of engineers that I work with across the globe in China, India, San Jose, California, and here in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. It's great to receive this service award because of the simple fact that my senior year in college, I've got the Dean Kopp Engineering Scholarship. That simple act of kindness planted a seed for me that I was going to give back somehow, some way in my career. And receiving this award, shows that I've achieved that personal goal I set by sponsoring scholarships, sponsoring research, setting up a foundation scholarship in my father's name. So I'm very honored, and this is probably the most prestigious award I've earned in my career. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family, my beautiful wife Sherry, my daughters Lauren and Brittany, for supporting me through all the long hours, all the moves across the country, but I think it's been worth it, and it was all precipitated by a degree from the College of Engineering at USF. I'd like to thank Dean Bishop for the Dean's Distinguished Service Award, the USF College of Engineering, and the USF College of Engineering Development Team for this very honorable award.
Hi, I'm Bob Higgins, the owner of Higgins Engineering. I graduated from USF in 1976 with a bachelor's and a master's. My parents, when they raised me, said I was going to be an engineer. So ever since I was in the 6th grade, I was told I was going to be an engineer. Went off to school thinking I knew what one was, but really didn't know until I got into college. USF was close to where I was living at the time, which is Winter Haven. And so for my first year, I commuted from Winter Haven to the campus. And that's, of course, when the first gas shortage started. And so I said, I'll move to Tampa. I started out thinking I wanted to be a structural engineer and I could build skyscrapers throughout the world. And then I realized you got to transplant yourself every year. So that's when I switched to water. There was a lot of research money that was available in water resources. Getting involved with the student organizations at the time. That's when I was first introduced to Florida Engineering Society, the American Water Resources Association. In fact, my first award was given to me by AWRA. USF contributed my career by giving me the opportunity to learn as you go forward in an engineering career. As you all know, you're just beginning to learn, and the college teaches you how to look things up and move forward. I work at Higgins Engineering, Inc., which I started in 1984, and we're a specialty firm in water resource engineering. It's both drainage and irrigation. I give back to USF whenever I can, but give it back to student organizations and try to keep the student activities alive by contributing funds wherever I need to. The advice that I have for the current students is to move forward as soon as you can towards your professional engineer license. A lot of students don't think it's that important and can go ahead and do it at a later date. Forget it, it doesn't work that way. You need to do it when you're still in college. Thank you again, Dean Bishop and staff. I really appreciate this award.
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!